Have you ever heard of chemtrails or contrails?
No.
You have, right, Chente?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is going to be a big red pill moment for you.
Okay.
So with most pilots, majority of pilots will tell you they're called contrails. Contrails are from condensation. So when you see a jet fly across, when it's flying, you see all the condensation. It looks like smoke, or you would
Yes.
think that it was smoke as a kid and stuff. That's up in the air, and it stays for a little bit, and then usually it dissipates within like 30 minutes. It's gone. Like you could look up in the sky and say, "Oh, there was a jet way out there," and it's
Because you can see the trail it left.
yeah. You're like, but it's slowly dissipating. It's going away. That's the condensation that's created from being up in the clouds, and then the engines being so hot, and it's causing the air and the molecules, the water molecules, to kind of separate in the air.
Okay.
Well, there's videos of pilots that are actually in court under oath explaining that there are a thing called chemtrails. People believe that those were chemicals that the planes were dropping into the air.
Kind of like crop dusting.
Yes, like a giant fart across the entire no, exactly like crop dusting, but way up higher, and it stays longer. So that way what they could do too, and I'll explain this in a second. With the chemtrails, they'll drop metals, aluminum, not like aluminum foil, but like literal metals and stuff in the air.
Yeah, like minerals.
Yes, and they'll put other things in it too, which can cause, I think, diseases, which can cause other issues. One of the things that you'll notice too is that these chemtrails, or contrails in quotations, they'll be extremely larger, wider. They won't be like a small little line following the jet.
Yes.
They'll be lower, and they'll be extremely wider. And people started recently giving those a different name for clouds. They've been giving those a name in the cloud teachings and stuff.
So how we have like cumulus and nimbus.
Yep.
They've given these
Stratus and all that stuff.
Yeah.
These ones are now called something else because you'll see cross patterns. You'll see all these different patterns in the sky. I don't know if you've noticed it more recently. You usually see them in the evening, especially when you're looking at you're like, wow, that's a nice sunset. But then you see all the different clouds that are long and skinny, and you're like, this is way close. Seems like it should be, you know?
Uh-huh.
So, anyway, with these things, they have the contrails and the chemtrails. I personally am wondering if they're spreading stuff that way, or they're stopping weather patterns or creating new weather patterns with those types of clouds that they put stuff in. So when it rains, you get weird acid rain, or you get weird issues. Did you notice on do you remember when Texas had like a weird ice storm last year?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, there was people on TikTok that were going out there and going, this isn't normal snow. And they go, look, and they put their hand under a black light. They went outside, they grabbed this snow, they brought it in, they put it down, and they go, look, and they showed a black light, and their hands were completely blue, bright blue. And then what they
chemicals.
did, they go, what would happen if you get normal snow and you get light a match, and it like goes out? They were putting it onto the actual ball, and it wasn't going out at all, the fire. This was all like on TikTok, and like I saved a bunch of the videos and stuff too. I'll show you those. I have those. I could probably put these in the Discord, but it's called like What's Going On in My State, Part 1, Part 2, and Part 3.
Okay.
And this young kid was showing all these different videos of other people that were dealing with it too.
Gotcha.
So, but that's where I feel like contrails, weather control, HARP. You ever heard of HARP? I'll have to look more into it. Have you ever heard of HARP, Chente?
No.
Okay, so I'll look more into it, but HARP is a part of like weather control.
Okay.
So when people are like, oh, there's no way they control the weather, there's no possible way.
Yeah.
Dubai has an area that's completely green.
You say completely green?
Yes, like they have rain that comes from, they have rain in Dubai that can make their deserts into grassy green lands, right?
Okay.
And then there's another area, it's off the coast of Africa. I don't know if it's off the Horn. I'll have to double check. But there's a place in Africa, and their symbol, it's a building, right? Oh, maybe it's not Africa. It might be Morocco, or anyway, it's in that general area. But off of in this area, they have HARP high Frequency Active Aurora Research Program. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I'll look more into that one too for sure. But anyways, with the weather control stuff, there's a place in Africa, and they have like their building is in the shape of what we look at on like the Weather Channel as a hurricane.
Okay.
So you know how like the hurricane, you see it from the top, it's like that spiral effect that spirals out further and further and further.
Further as it goes down, yeah.
Well, this business or this company that's there, their building looks like a hurricane, and hurricanes, when they come to the United States, they're coming from that general direction. So there's thoughts that this company could be the ones that are creating hurricanes and sending them towards the United States. They can make them more powerful, they can make them more dense, they can make them, by the time they get to the United States, they could turn into a tropical storm. It just depends. But
okay.
From that direction, that's where all these hurricanes are coming from. And there's no, like, you could see, I guess, from the sky, but if these companies or these people can create weather, then they can create more things. Like with the chemtrail portion of it, I think that they produce metals in the air, right? Okay. And there's different chemicals that they could put in the air that could be within our area of breathing. You know, like it's close enough to us where we can breathe it in. It's, I don't know, for me it just seems super strange that I think that there's certain things that can take place during those times where it was like sicknesses and stuff. So for example, if you have Alzheimer's patients are known to have high levels of aluminum in their system. So you have these planes that are dropping these chemicals or these different minerals in the sky that we're not supposed to breathe in.
Yes.
If the sun hits it, maybe that sun is creating it to be stronger rays for us that could cause cancers. You know, I'm just thinking out loud. I have no idea if this is true or not. This is what I'm kind of concluding and like kind of piecing together myself.
Yeah.
The other thing too, like if you look at ingredients for deodorant,
some of them have aluminum in them.
All of them have aluminum.
All of them?
Almost all of them. You have to buy deodorant specifically without aluminum for it to have no aluminum. If not, they all come with aluminum. So like those, I have like these ones called like Active. I think it was like a Kobe Bryant one. Not to go down that rabbit hole, but Kobe Bryant has a Active, like a sporty deodorant and stuff. So those ones are aluminum free. So.
Gotcha.
But just kind of where I'm at. That's kind of where I want to touch base on too with the chemtrails and the contrails, and even spreading diseases could possibly be through those.
Well, I was going to say, if I could jump back for a second, if there's a company out there that can control the weather, make hurricanes, and this stuff is just like floating in the air in the clouds, waiting for like rainstorms or strong winds, if they can create their own rainstorms, strong winds, because if you think about it, a lot of states get residual effects from hurricanes. So we start the hurricane, send it here, and then the wind carries it to like all the places where it'd be harder to make up a story of why the jet was flying over and to spread these things in the directions they want to.
Yes, exactly.
Could that be a possibility?
Oh, no, 100%. I don't know. I think so. Personally, I think it could. I'm not trying to tell my opinion it's the end all be all, but I also think that there's certain things too with like the wavelengths or the not radiation,
radio waves?
Antennas, radio waves.
Okay.
Where if a wave can carry something, whether you could figure out what could attach to that wave or what could be produced by that wave, or if you could Uber or Lyft and make that wave be able to transport something or travel and from one area to another area,
yes,
then I think that could potentially spread things too. I don't know if it's spread any sicknesses or anything like that, but there were certain radio waves that were created at certain times in our past that...
Well, weren't they saying something about like being able to do something?
We'll mute that out. We can't talk about that one.
Okay.
So...
Way to go.
Yeah, I'll edit that one out. So anyway, long story short, with the exactly what you were talking about.
Okay.
Certain wavelengths, there were certain sicknesses that came out during those time frames.
Okay.
I think one of the first ones that they did, like the radioactive one, the flu was created at the exact same time frame. And then they started doing other ones and upgrading them, and then you started getting other ones later on, like the swine flu or the bird flu or things like that. So they could have been doing it with nanoparticles from drones, and that's where we get birds, because birds aren't real.
That's right.
So sorry if I talked. I feel like I talked way too much in this episode.
Well, because you were informing us of stuff that we didn't have a pre-knowledge of.
Yeah, and we'll definitely touch base on this. Like, I definitely want to get more videos and links to stuff, so that way I could have them available and be like, hey, check this out. This is where I got this info from.
Yeah.
And believe me, it might be BS or it might not be. So I don't know.
If I could circle back again to the beginning where we talked about...
Ain't no circle back, girl.
In the beginning where we talked about predictive programming, because my brain works slow. Mm-hmm. It should work faster, but it doesn't. And you say they put it in the movies and the shows that we watch.
Yes.
And I can't remember if the second episode or first episode, we talked about like stuff with celebrities and like the pipeline, how like schools get it situated to be controlled.
Oh, yes, in prisons.
For prisons.
Mm-hmm. That was on the second episode of the second episode.
And that some of the celebrities were told to, hey, promote this in your music.
Yes.
That would be part of the predictive programming.
100%.
And then if you think about the stuff they did in the music and then even the movies we watched growing up, there was a lot of repetitive actions and plots.
Yes. Juice, Boys in the Hood. I'm trying to think of other ones without Cuba Gooding Jr.
Like every terrorist movie. Because think about how many movies where we are fighting Russia are there from way even before we were born to now we're still fighting Russia. To real life, we are not technically fighting Russia, but we're supporting people who are fighting Russia.
Yes.
That predictive programming right there.
Yep.
Even Rocky. His first two movies was about him winning the title. Third movie, all of a sudden, this Russian comes out of nowhere.
The fourth movie, he fought the Russian.
That was four? Oh, yeah.
Mr. T. The third is with Mr. Ice, Mr. T.
Yeah. Not Ice T.
Yeah, I was about to say Ice T. Mr. T.
It ain't Law and Order.
But then the fourth one, all of a sudden,
pity the fourth.
Russian comes out of nowhere, and now we're involved with that.
Yes.
Another predictive programming, possibly?
No, I think so.
Like you said, put it right in our face where we wouldn't even think about it. And
that's one of the movies that people grow up that's like very iconic. That people are like, I love, like that. Rocky IV is such an iconic movie. You have the workout scene in that movie. You have the soundtrack for all those movies, especially that one.
Yes.
And then his friend dies in that one, and you have Journey. And you have all these other Eye of the Tiger or Survivor or whatever singing Eye of the Tiger. Like, you have all these different, like, iconic songs during that specific movie. And you're like, I'm going to go beat the Russian. Or I'm going to go, like, in your mind, you're going to go to the gym so you can work just as hard as that guy. Or the next guy. Or better than that guy. So,
yes.
No, I totally get that.
Well, because I was also thinking, past, 10, 15 years, there's all these rumors about us going to war with Korea.
Yes, yes.
And in how many movies did you see where like the new enemy are Koreans instead of Russians?
Yep.
And just like you said, predictive programming, like
and
throwing it right out there in front of us.
Yeah.
Where unless someone brings it to your attention, you don't even pay attention that
James Bond. They always fought against the Russians.
Yes.
I mean, like, it was always about Russia, Russia, Russia.
Cold War was a big thing, so.
Yeah. So, I don't know. You got anything, Chente? Or you got any other topics you want to talk about?
Yeah.
Or you want to say?
So to go back to the predictive programming. 9/11 was a big one.
Oh yes.
Huge. But
huge.
It's how they changed everything afterward. Everyone refers to it as the day everything changed, the day the world stopped turning, and all that stuff for us, right? In America. We changed French fries to freedom fries because the French didn't want to go to war with us or whatever.
Yeah.
Wait, when
Remember
did
that?
happen?
They didn't want to go to war with us.
They didn't want to fight with us
it
at
was like
first. They
02,
didn't want to
03.
back us up.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's what everything is, this is the day everything changes. That's what they always say. And we always see the iconic building like on fire and coming down all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But we never see, it's been like 21 years, right? Or whatever. And we haven't seen the plane hit the Pentagon yet. Right?
Yeah.
Can't find that video anywhere.
No.
A plane goes down in a field too in Pennsylvania, and there's like hardly anything done. Where's that video? Seen that video?
No.
Nope.
And you know how many? Have you guys been to DC before?
No, I have not.
Dude, it's so packed around there. Like, there's cameras everywhere, and you tell me we can't have a video of a plane hitting the Pentagon?
Yep.
And everyone's seen that one video where it looks like a missile hit it.
Yes, there was no wings that blew out the side of the
nothing.
buildings.
And
either.
it was
just a small
super
hole.
low.
Mm-hmm.
It was really low to the ground,
And got caught on no cameras.
yeah, nothing. But so that's the day that everything changed.
Then you got Tower 7.
You got Tower 7.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, that's for another day.
Yeah.
Okay, because you guys just piqued my interest.
Everything that. So the next one that happened was COVID, if I may say,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
and that's after that everyone's saying, oh, this is the new normal. Nothing can go back to the way it was. This is the great reset, right?
Yep.
That's what we have to wear the mask. Oh, it's the new normal. It's the new normal.
Mm-hmm.
And you get the media to repeat anything, like, often, people are going to remember it because most of America, like, we're busy. Like, we're working, we're taking care of kids, whatever. So you hear that new normal, new normal. This is how it's going to be now. You can't go back to the way it was. And your mind just blends it together. You get confused. And you're like, you know what? This is the new normal. We can't go back.
Well,
That's all.
Here's what's crazy for you too. When you were saying the new normal and the predictive programming for the new normal, do you remember Snapchat?
Mm-hmm.
How they had all those masks as a filter? Like, see that filter up there?
Yeah.
It's like the cat mask.
The cat mask and the dog mask and different things like
There's
that.
always masks that you put on as your filter. And then you would ask somebody, especially girls on Tinder and stuff, hey, can I get a picture of you? And all their pictures are like them with a stupid mask on. And you're like, I want to see what your real face looks like without a real stupid filter. And it makes no sense. Another thing too, like, have you ever played Ghost Recon Breakpoint?
No.
No? Or Ghost Recon games? A lot of the accessories you could do for your character was put on these really cool looking masks. They would be these half masks that just covered your nose and your face, which you kind of think of like Shredder or Cobra Commander, from G.I. Joe's, or Shredder from Ninja Turtles. Like, some of these bad guys had like some masks on, and you're like, it's so cool because it gives them this identity that it's like a secret identity. You don't know what their face looks like, so you're like, I gotta know what this guy's face looks like. I have no idea. And then when you go through what we went through, and everybody was wearing a mask and stuff, and you're like, I wonder what that person's face really looks like. Like, I always thought like people's noses, I don't know why, it might have just been me, but everybody I thought had a huge nose under their mask. And then when they would take their mask off, they would have a little button nose. And I'm like, you look a little adorable. I'm like, it doesn't even look like it matches. Like, I thought you would have a much bigger nose. And it almost became like a, not an attraction, but you're like,
oh man, you talking about kings? Come on, man.
Kings? What's no? I don't know what Kings is.
I think he said kinks.
Oh, Kings. Yeah, I guess. And like, keep the mask on. I want to smell your breath after it's been in your mask all day. I want to smell the sweat dropping off your mustache underneath your mask. And then the girl,
that's just wrong.
The girl takes her mask. You're like, you got a goatee.
You have a bigger beard than I do.
Your name's Fu Manchu.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah. Again, my predictive programming. 9/11 was everything changed for everyone.
Yes.
But then all of a sudden we're in Iraq because the weapons of mass destruction.
Yes.
And they're like, oh, we got to invade Iraq. We got to invade Iraq. How many people do you think believed that Iraq started the 9/11 war instead of Afghanistan.
Yeah, they were like, oh no.
Oh, but after all that, oh no, like Iraq has this, we gotta invade Iraq.
Yep.
And then another one, you're talking about shows earlier.
Yeah.
What about Westworld? Have you guys seen that?
I know what it is, but I haven't seen it.
It's just like life. That would, to me, would be about life in the simulation.
Yes. It's on HBO. It's like, there's like these people that are like living in like, what, the 18th century or something like that in the Wild West.
Okay.
And then all of a sudden it transitions into like a simulation. And this entire time, they were in a simulation the whole time or something, I guess. And I don't want to give spoiler alerts. I have no idea. I've never seen an episode.
Okay.
And then it's whatever the media tells you these days, or just like political campaigns, whatever the language people use to get one over on you is what sticks with you. So like campaigns, Obama's was hope, right?
Yes.
So people are like, oh yeah, hope. But what did we need hope for back then?
Yeah.
Do you remember?
I don't know. Coming out of the war?
We were still in it, man.
Yeah,
but then it was like hope. We need hope. And it gets in there, and then what happens? Like we think we get Saddam Hussein, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is right. We got Saddam Hussein right around then. And then not too long after that, we got Osama bin Laden.
Then that's what people think. Like, oh, yeah, you know what? We do need hope. We need hope for all this stuff. But then Trump was Make America Great Again.
Mm-hmm.
People got on board with that. That's what sticks with you. And they could not even care about the political views. It's just about making America great again.
Yeah.
Because it's all a popularity contest, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the other thing,
so
too,
whatever sells is what going to get you over.
Yeah. So then I'm going to transition this into something for you. Ed, I need you to do me a favor.
Okay.
So
wear a mask.
Yeah. Your breath stank. Now, look up or spell New York City. Write it down. Okay.
New York City.
Can you write Shanksville down?
Shanksville, okay.
Yep. Write it directly underneath.
Directly
New York City. Okay. How many letters are in New York City?
11.
Okay. 11.
Okay.
How many are in Shanksville?
11.
11.
If I spelled it right.
Uh-huh. 11. And one of the planes that hit the Trade Center, it was plane 11.
It's plane 11, okay.
Yeah, there's a few more. I got to find them. But it kind of is cool with like the numerology in it. How all this stuff is kind of tied together.
To the catchphrase that Chente was talking about, even with the coronavirus, they were catchphrasing it. They kept repeating coronavirus, and it was like, oh, the COVID-19, and people were calling for vid. And then Cardi B came out with that little video. She talked about the coronavirus, and they made it into a song that went around.
Coronavirus.
Yes.
Yep.
It's like even the disease they were plansies.
Yeah.
They tried to market it.
Yep.
Yeah, it's the phrases they use, man. The language. While you guys are doing that, in the 80s, WCW had the tag team MEGA POWERS with Hulk Hogan and Macho Man Randy Savage.
Yes.
And they gave like an iconic promo. They're talking about how they're going to tear down the Twin Towers, which was another tag team with Akeem, the African Dream, and the Big Boss Man.
Oh, man, I forgot about Akeem, the African Dream.
Yeah.
Not even African,
Dude,
not even black. Just
how we started and ended this with going back to wrestling.
Yes.
But that's just a fun one I want to throw in, like.
For sure. Man, let me.
I can see Hogan flying a plane and taking down the Twin Towers.
Oh no! You can see him doing it.
Yeah. Macho Man went after the Pentagon.
Oh.
You know, he always wanted
Snap
to
until Slim Jim.
Yeah.
Thought for the day. You have to train your mind to be stronger than your emotions, or else you'll lose yourself every time.
This is post-production, so I'm trying to do this as best as I can. Thank you for listening to the SpeakInC.O.A.D podcast. I am C.O.A.D, Conspiracy of a Deadman, Teddy Bear Dynamite, Theodore Dynamite, also known as TBD, not to be confused with To Be Determined, and Chente the Homie. Thank you guys for listening to this podcast and this episode and this part. Look forward to getting you guys to give us some feedback. All right, have a good one. DEUCE.